Hey guys, welcome back. So till now we have learnt the first section of this course, that is basics of data structure and algorithm, within which we learnt introduction to data structure algorithm, we learnt what is recursion and algorithm runtime analysis. I hope all of these three concepts are clear. Now with this video, let's start the next section, which is physical data structure. So under physical data structure, we have two topics, array and linked list. So with this video onwards, let's start learning array data structure. Now before we start learning the array data structure, let's quickly see an example of everyday life. We unknowingly use array data structure. So one such classical example is this box of tie. So if we see this box of tie, it is very similar to an array data structure. How is it? Let's see. So first let's see what are the properties or observations of this box. So first we see that it is a box of tie. That means this box contains few ties in it. Next we see that all the compartments are contiguous. That means there is no gap in any of this compartment. All the compartments are continuous. Next we also see that each compartment can be identified uniquely. Let's say if you want to identify this compartment, we say that this is the 7th compartment. If you want to identify this compartment, we say it is the 4th compartment. Similarly, all the compartments are having a unique number. Lastly, we also see that the size of the box is fixed and generally we cannot modify it, assuming that it is coming from some standard manufacturer. That means this box is manufactured by some standard manufacturer and it is assumed to have 12 compartments in it. So depending on our requirement, if we want to decrease or increase this box size, we cannot do it. These are the important observations from the above picture. Now if we compare this with the array data structure, it is very similar. So a typical array data structure looks like this. Here we have 6 compartments or cell in this array. Now if we see the property of this array, it is very similar to this box. Let's see how. So the first property is the array can store data of specified data type. What do we mean by data type? It can be integer, long, double or any of them. So depending on what data type we have defined, only those data type can be stored in an array. So let's say if we have said this array stores characters in it, and if you want to store integer in it, it will throw an error. It will not allow you. Why? Because once we have defined what type of data can go in this array, we have to mandatorily give only the same compatible data in it. Next observation is it has contiguous memory location. That means if we see on a physical level, all these compartments are located in contiguous memory location in RAM. So we are going to talk about it in little more detail in the next videos. So let's skip it for now. Next thing is every cell of an array has a unique index. So let's say if you want to say what is the cell number over here, it is 3. What is the cell number over here? It is 4. So you see that all the cell number has a unique index. No two cell number can have same index. Another important thing is index starts with 0. So typically we start our counting from 1, but in case of an array, we typically start the index or counting from 0. So we'll say this is the 0th cell, this is the first cell, second cell, third cell and so on. And the last property is the size of the array needs to be specified mandatorily when we are creating this array, and we typically cannot modify it. So when we have created this array, we have said that it will contain 6 cells in it. And later, if we want to increase or decrease the size of this array, it is not possible. So that is one of the biggest limitation of an array, which we are going to see in more details in the later videos. Fine. So I hope you have understood what exactly is an array. Now here is a formal definition of an array data structure. So an array is a data structure consisting of a collection of an element. So in this case, it is a collection of integers, each identified by array index. So here the index is 0, 1, 2 and so on. An array is stored such that the position of each element can be computed from its index cell by a mathematical formula. What that means is, if this is our 0th cell, then it is easy to find out what is the cell number over here. It will be 1, 2 and 3. Fine. So I hope you have understood on a high level what exactly is an array. So array is basically a collection of a similar data type. Now let's see, why do we need an array? So let's say our problem statement is we want to store 1 million integers in memory. Then what is the option that we have? So the first option is we can create 1 million integer data type and we can store all those datas in those 1 million integers. But the problem here is that how will we maintain such huge list of variables? The other problem is we have to remember all the variable names. Similarly, there will be lot more complications even for the smallest of the processing. So in those kind of a scenario, array fits in perfectly. So what we do in that case? We simply create one array of size 1 million and that's it. We are done. Now if you want to access any of the cell number, we can simply refer to the cell number and directly jump on to that cell. Similarly, if you want to update all of the cells in the array, or if you want to delete value from any of the cells, all of them can be done very simply using a simple loop. However, such kind of things are not possible if you are simply going for a primitive data structure. Fine. So that is all about what and why of an array. Now in the next video, let's see what are the types of an array that we have.